When the new Star Wars comics were kicking off in 2015, I was so excited because it was just before The Force Awakens came out, brand new Star Wars, it was back in a big way, and I just couldn't wait. I was totally excited. So I started getting the main Star Wars series and also the Darth Vader as well. And I enjoyed them up until a point. I think they're told kind of good stories, but there's kind of issues there, and issues that I'm gonna go through and see as to kind of 5 ways that the Star Wars comics can be improved. And I think like the things I've come up with are actually pretty good, but yeah, I had to stop getting them recently. Like I got up to, well, just before the Screaming Citadel crossover, and I was just like, I can't do this anymore. And also I needed to save money anyway, so I kind of had to cut something out. So that was pretty much the main Star Wars line of comics. I didn't get the second Darth Vader series that they're doing, and I didn't buy Dr. Aphra either because I'm not a big fan of her. I've still been getting the mini-series, so I got the Princess Leia one, the Han Solo one, and the Lando Calrissian one also, and the Darth Maul one, which I think has its last issue coming out soon actually. So here's 5 ways to improve Marvel's Star Wars comics. Number 1, characters. Now, we all love Han, Leia, Luke, Chewie, C-3PO, and R2-D2, but we've seen so much of those characters that it'd actually be interesting to take a look at some side characters, like people like Wedge, for example, and see as to how they fit into like the Rebel Alliance and the wider story of the Star Wars universe, and kind of like seeing things from their perspective, because I think things would be quite different, and that would make the comics like really interesting to have like side character stories being told, so we can find out more about them. I mean, essentially all I know about Wedge is that he's from Corellia, and then obviously what happened in Star Wars Rebels, where he joined the Imperial Academy, then wanted to leave, and then he escaped with the help of Sabine. And that's great and everything, but I'd love to know more about them in the periods between A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back, which is when the Star Wars comics are, well, the main line of Star Wars comic is currently set. And I think it would be really good just to see all your different kind of supporting characters, and also characters who kind of don't exist, as in new characters that they introduce, because that way it will actually raise the stakes, because some of these characters may not make it depending as to who they are. And I think that would be kind of like a better way to kind of keep things fresh, because like I said, focusing on the same old, I don't think it's really helping, and I think it can just add some new freshness to the Star Wars comic. Number 2, they should make it an anthology. Now, instead of being kind of a soap opera, just an ongoing thing, which is what's currently happening with the mainline Star Wars comic, making an anthology will give the opportunity to tell loads of different types of stories involving different characters in different situations, and it just adds more. It just allows you to do a lot more creatively. It allows you to go to different places and tell different stories in different ways as well. Like I remember an issue of, I can't remember as to whether it was Star Wars, no, it might have been Star Wars Republic by Dark Horse. I'm pretty sure it was an issue of that, where essentially it was like Memento. They told the story backwards, and it was brilliant. It was really, really good. It involved some Jedi, well, a Jedi, who was originally from Naboo, I think, and it involved Palpatine as well, and it was kind of like how he manipulated him. But like I said, the story's told backwards, and it's a really good one. If only I could remember the issue number, but I remember just reading that and being like, that was sick, that was wicked. It would allow stories like that to be told. At the moment, it's just like another impossible situation for kind of like Han, Leia and Luke, which you know they're always going to go out of, so, well, get out of even. So you know it's not that interesting as a read, but making an anthology series, like 6 issues, tell a story with X amount of characters in it, in X situation, and then your next 6 issues could be entirely different, focus on entirely different characters, different situation, different story, set somewhere other than Star Wars. I reckon that's probably the better way to go, rather than just sticking to what we already know. Number 3, explore different genres. Now yes, Star Wars is science fiction, but we do know that sometimes within science fiction you can get additional genres. For example, something I quite liked from the prequels, which I wish was explored more, was the kind of whole Obi-Wan Kenobi Jedi detective thing, where he was pretty much a hard-boiled detective. I say hard-boiled, not really hard-boiled, but detective, trying to figure things out and trying to suss things out with what was going on on Kamino, and find out as to what was going on with the clone army. I thought that's kind of stuff you can really run with, and you know, it's had a Western influence before with characters like Cad Bane. We've got cowboys in there and stuff. There's bounty hunters, so there's a whole load of different things you can do. I mean, Rogue One was essentially a heist movie. In certain places, it was a heist movie. It was pretty much like the Ocean's 11 in space, like getting a team together and then going on this mission. And I reckon they could really do loads of different kind of genres within Star Wars, which is nuts, but it definitely does allow and lend itself to that kind of stuff, which I think is great, and I wish to just explore it more. And I think it would benefit me as a reader a lot. Like, I'd really, really enjoy it. Number 4, different creative teams. Having different creative teams work on a specific story for a certain amount of time before letting a new team come on. Again, keep things fresh, keep things going. There'd be different writers, different stories. Teams could come back, come back, tell different stories throughout time and whatnot. And yeah, I think it would be really good, especially if they kept it within a certain time period. Like I said, at the moment, it's between A New Hope and Empire. They've not really gone beyond that in the mainline Star Wars. Obviously, Shattered Empire was set after Return of the Jedi, but that was a mini-series anyway. But yeah, different creative teams will definitely keep things fresh. It could attract even new readers to kind of come in, because if there's a certain writer that they like and they see that a certain person has written that series, then obviously that person will come in, and it may cause them to stay once they go and a new team comes in to see as to what happens next, to see as to kind of what kind of stories are brought to the table. And it can just attract new readers, I think, and I think it'll just be, again, just keeping things fresh is just the way to go. It really is. 5, having 2 different main lines of Star Wars comics. So my idea would be to have Star Wars Rebel Alliance, which would focus on characters who are obviously part of the Rebel Alliance, and then Star Wars Imperial Empire, which will allow us to kind of like delve into and see the Imperial characters, because I don't think we see enough of the Empire. I think what we have seen of them has been very cool indeed. And I mean that kind of generally in terms of the movies and series, like Star Wars Rebels, for example. But this would actually because we don't properly get a chance to kind of know these characters, and although they may be evil, obviously there's kind of a lot of propaganda surrounding kind of how Palpatine stopped the Jedi from betraying the Republic and whatnot, and people believe that, you know, I mean, people hear that stuff in the Star Wars universe, obviously, and they believe that, so they actually don't view the Empire as the bad guys, or some people, those who aren't oppressed, don't view them as the bad guys. And I can totally see us to kind of, that's the truth that they know. They don't know any other kind of truth. So I think having a comic from the Imperial perspective could actually be quite interesting to delve into, and you can definitely see some interesting concepts. And to kind of have 2 lines, and they could even cross over at certain points and do events at certain points. And I think that would greatly benefit, because the stories wouldn't be one note. Like I said, they'll be from different perspectives, there'll be different types of stories, delving into different genres with new characters and supporting characters taking leads and stuff like that. And I think all kind of 5 of the points that I've come up with, different creative teams, exploring different genres, different characters, being an anthology, and having 2 main lines of Star Wars comics could definitely kind of improve things more than they currently are. Not that what's going on right now is terrible or anything like that, but it just needs a freshness. It needs kind of like, not a restart, but just like an explosion of new energy. And I know there is a new creative team on Star Wars comics at the moment that's coming soon, but I don't know if just changing the team is enough to keep things fresh. I hope it is, we'll see. But those were my 5 kind of like ideas as to how to improve Marvel Star Wars comics. You can sound off in the comments. Subscribe, like, share if you want as well. And as always, I'll catch you on the next one.